Good afternoon, grade 11s. Welcome to your IT Zoom lesson. It is the 7th of May today, and we are going to continue working on arrays. I have uploaded the PowerPoint and the data related to these activities. I'm going to actually be working through some of the activities with you to show you how it is done. Okay, so yesterday we started with arrays and we defined that an array is a list of things. And it is easier to declare an array for a number of things than declaring variables for every single item that we might be working with. Okay, so we are going to carry on. This is Unit 3.1 in the DBE textbook and Chapter 7 in the Study Opportunities textbook. Displaying an element from an array. You can display individual elements from an array. Here is the code so that you can see how it is done. I will use a show message. Then R names, remember we always use the prefix R for array. That's my variable name. And my index is 1. So display the element from index position 1. Then in my, this is a memo, so I use mem_display.lines.add. I have my string. The 7th element is, and then to get the 7th element, I will have R value index 7. But now remember, I cannot display integers, so I need to change it over to a string. So into string R value 7. Okay, so those are two ways that you can display your array, one with a show message, the other with a memo or a rich edit. Displaying all the elements in an array, there are different methods. Method 1 says displaying elements using an output statement for each element. So for example, I would use then mem_display into string R score 1. And for each of the arrays, I would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So suppose you have 5 elements in R score and you want to display these elements in a memo box. This would be an example. Method 1 is fine as long as you have only a few elements in the array. But now imagine I had 100 elements. Okay, then you would have to write this out 100 times. So using this program, you will become cumbersome because you will have to, you will have 100 output statements. Instead, you can use a loop to display a large amount of elements. So let us take a look. Method 2 would be to use your loop. And in this instance, we are going to use a for loop. So I'm saying for I assign 1 to 5. Now, why did I say 1 to 5? Because there were 5 elements. And then instead of having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 underneath here, I'm declaring everything to I. So mem_display.lines.add into string my array scores index I. So whatever was this, whichever number between 1 and 5 that I'm going to use, I will define it as I. We access all 5 elements in the array using a loop. There are 5 elements in the array and we run the loop from 1 to 5. Now remember, a for loop, you know how many iterations or how many loops there are. A while loop, you are not sure, so you will keep looping until you reach a condition. The loop counter is linked to the index position of the elements in an array. Each time the loop counter is incremented, which is increased, it points to the next element in the array. Okay, I'm going to go through that again. The loop counter is linked to the index position of the elements in an array. Each time the loop counter is incremented, so it increases by 1, it points to the next element in the array. Okay, so you're going to do activity 3.1.1 in a Google Doc. So you can do something like this. Let me just find my activity. I have created activity 3.1 here, and just copy the question over there, and I will be entering my answers over here. Just want to get both my fields in the correct place. Okay, so let's get back to the activity. So question 3.1.1 says, declare an array called rName that can store 3 string values. Now, store the names of a friend, a family member, and a pet in the array in that order. So first the friend, then the family member, and then the pet name. You will use a show message to display the following names. So there, A will be pet's name, B will be family member's name. Okay, so let's take a look here. Let me just get it all in the right place. Okay, so for example, I could write here rName array, and it was 1, 2, 3 because it went friend, family, pet, that is 3. Okay, rName, so that was the one way, is then 1, and then I assign it, we'll call it Mary. A family member name, this is array 2. And we can say family member's name is James, and rName index 3 is going to be my pet name, and that is going to be Fluffy. Let's go for Fluffy. Okay, so and then here are the displayed names. So the names that I wanted to display was show message, rNames, and I wanted to display, it says here, first of all, display the pet's name. So I'm going to have index 3. Okay, and then show message for question B there, family member's name. I wanted rName, and it was index 2. And I close my brackets, and there you have the answer for the show message. Okay, quite easy. Okay, let's go to the next question. Using a pen and paper, we're going to write it in here. Okay, so it's what I've got is I've got a table. There's our alphabet 1 to 26. It's type char. Our provinces, we have 9 provinces, or 10 provinces. 1 to 9 is 10. It's a string. Our ages, people can be age 1 to 120. My integer, our card index, and it's 1 to 52. So let's see. Assign the name of South Africa's 9 provinces into an array R provinces. Okay. So I'm going to enter here R provinces, and we're going to have our, we've got Eastern Cape. So I'm just going to copy and paste this one to save some time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 2, 3, 4. Remember, you're allowed to use copy and paste, okay? We need to try and save time. 7, 8, I skipped a number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And we take that one out. Okay. And we will have free state. The next one is going to be, oh, make sure you're always at the end of your, going to be Gauteng. Then we will have KwaZulu Natal. My keyboard has a shortcut somewhere that is not liking my semicolon or my apostrophe, not the semicolon, which I need to try and figure out why it's doing that. Okay, it actually takes a lot in P-U-M-A-L-A-N-G-A. Northern Cape. Okay, so that is, I'm going to carry on, so not to waste too much time typing here. So that was assigning the provinces. Then it says assign the value false to every second value of array in the card deck. So what I can have here, I'm going to place here is our card in deck, assign my array, and it's going to be 1 to 52. And then don't forget your type of Boolean. Now, why am I going to use a Boolean? Because I'm looking for a true and false, and Boolean will give me that option. So I'm going to use of type Boolean. Okay, then create a for loop that assigns random numbers between 1 and 20 inclusive to the array R numbers. Array R numbers is type integer containing 50 elements. Okay, so I just want to see where so we want to create a for loop that assigns random numbers between the age 1 and 20. Okay, so this is for the ages, array 1 to 20 of, and we said integer. Okay, then now what I need to do is I need to write my for loop. So I'm going to enter my for loop here at the bottom. So let's actually, I'm going to do the for loop over here for the card in deck, and then I will do the random numbers at the bottom of this one. Okay, so for I assign, 1 to 52, 1 to 52, do. Now I start my if statement. If I mod 2 is equal to 0, then, remember there's no semicolon after this, then our card in deck, my index of I must be false. Okay, so that is creating a for loop for the array of card in deck. So to assign a value false to every second value, and the reason there is I've used mod 2, I mod 2, keeps going back to a capital letter. Let's make a small letter, equals 0, and then that is my array. Now my array for my numbers here is going to be for I 1 to 52, no, sorry, 1 to 50, do are numbers, and I'm going to use the index I, assign random 20 plus 1. So we always say plus 1 so that it increments. Okay, so that wasn't too difficult. There we go. So 1 to 20, create a for loop for that assigns random numbers between 1 and 20 inclusive to, so inclusive means 1 and 20 to the array. Array R numbers is type integer containing 50 elements. Okay, so there it was, there were 50 elements, and I used, now very importantly, random. The function random is going to include all the numbers, including the last number 20. Okay, now question 3.1.3. We're going to open the project test marks. The project is supposed to display the marks of the learners which are stored in the array. However, there are errors in the program. So correct the errors in the program so that it produces the correct output as shown on the right. So I wanted to display clearly. So when the user clicks on display, it is going to enter the value. So I have the program ready over here, and I'm going to now get the array ready. So if I double click on this, let's just see. I'm going to read my question again to make sure I know what is required. Let's go to question 3. Okay, it says, the project is supposed to display the marks of the learners which are stored in the array. However, there are errors in the program. Correct the errors in the program so that it produces the correct. So this is something I can do in the test. I can give you code, but I can give you the incorrect code and expect you to be able to fix it. Okay, so I'm going to go into my code section and let us see. So I have here I've declared my form. There is my array, and I've declared it array 1 of 6 of integer, and I've now declared which ones they are. It's 50, 29, 63, 97, 52, and 59. Okay. Now, okay, so there, if we look at our picture, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So what is wrong on my image here? 0 to 7. So how many will that be? What I need to, that would be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I've got too many, okay? So I need to go and fix this. It's going to be from 1 to 6, okay? And then let's see, is this going to be a red output, dot lines, dot add, array marks, J. Okay, J, why do we have a J? No, it's not J, it is I, okay, but it was an integer. Can I display an integer? No, I can't. So I need to go and say int to string and add additional brackets. There we go. And if I run my program now, hopefully it's going to work. Hold thumbs. And there's my display button, and I'll click on my display button, and there we go. Okay, so let's quickly check what we changed here. It was array 1 to 6, and over here there was an error, it was 0 to 7, so we fixed that. Our index was the wrong letter, so make sure that whatever you've defined up here, it must be the same variable, okay? And then I also included the into string so that I'm able to display it. Okay, so let's close that one. And just close the program. Okay, so that wasn't too bad. I hope you all were able to stay with me during that part. Okay, now the next question. This is the family tree. Open the family tree project, and as you can see, we have here father, mother, can't read there, brother, sister. Okay. Declare a non-local, so declare a global array called R names. Since the values in this array will be assessed by each of the buttons, then you are going to create an onCreate event for the form to assign the name of the family member to each of the elements. So before, as I start my program, I wanted to go and assign specific names to specific positions in the family. So the father's name is John, the mother's name is Mary, the brother's Peter, the sister is Sarah. So then question C is create an on-click event for father, for the father button. So if I click on the father button, it needs to display the name of the father from the array in a show message and also add it to my list box. Okay, so this is getting a bit more. So I think before we get too far, I'm going to quickly open that program. Then we've got our family tree program. And here is my interface. I've got 4 buttons and a search. This is a list box, which I will need to code. Okay, so the first thing that it said was declare my array. Okay, so I've got here array 1 to 4. They've already given this to us, so but please remember it must be declared globally. Okay, so the whole unit, not just each procedure, will be able to see it. Okay, then when I double click on father, okay, it's going to enter the father code, and I'm going to very simply, because I've set my, wait, before we carry on, if I declare it at the moment, it's not going to give me anything. So let's see, I need to declare, assign my values. So let's quickly do that. Our names, index 1 is going to be John. So that is the father's name. And remember, please in your code add comments so that it is easy for you to be able to read and any person reading your code. Our names, index 2, and the name is going to be Mary. And this is the mother. Our names, position 3 will be the brother. And the brother's name is Peter. You can choose any names that you prefer. Brother. And our names 4 is going to be the sister, which is going to be Sarah. Okay, so now what I've done is in my form create, how do I get to form create? I simply double click on the form or I go to the event. Let's just go back there. If I go on my events there is on create. So you simply just click on the form, go to events and click there, or you can double click on the form. Okay, so let's get back to our code. So I want to now declare, write the code for the father. Okay, so all I have to do is use a show message. And what position was the father again? Our names, the father was position 1, and place that in brackets, and it's already string, so I don't need to change anything. The mother was show message our names index 2, close my brackets. Then we have show message, well, let's try that again. Show message our names, and I'm using index 3 for the brother. Okay, and the sister, show message, need to cut my nails, our names index 4. Oh. Okay, so let's see if we run it now. Let's just quickly check what was the last part of that question. So I did the on-click event for the mother, the father, and then it says here some on-click events for mother, brother, sister buttons to display the relevant names from the array in a show message dialog and in the list box. Okay, so now there's one more part I have to do is, I need to write, okay, we don't have to write the search message. Let's quickly see here. I think it has only, they've only actually displayed this code, so let's try. Okay, so if I click on father, then we have John. I click on, say okay. Okay, it hasn't written to the list box. We haven't added that into this code here. We'll do that in another activity. Mother, there we go, chosen Mary. Brother, Peter. Sister, Sarah. Okay, so we will probably use the family tree app a bit later, where we actually go and write it also, not just a show message, but it writes it to a list box. And then the last part would be to actually search for a specific name. Okay, great. So save and test your application. You should now be able to display the names of your different family members by clicking on their buttons. Okay, not pushing their buttons. Okay, remember we all live in peace during this time, just by clicking on the buttons. Okay, so I am not going to start the next question because it's actually going to take a little more time than what we have. So I'm going to end it here today. And then in the next lesson on Tuesday, I will continue with question 3.1.5, just so that we can go through it. You can start looking at it over the weekend. The names of games are stored in an array. Open the game names project. Write the code for the display button. So when I click the display button, it must show me all the names of the different games. Then write the code for a new button to add the text new to every second element of the array. Okay, then C, write the code for the select button to randomly select a game and display the name of the game using a dialog box. Okay, so using the different ones. Then part D, write the reverse button, and this is a good old grade 10 question, to reverse the characters of every element in the array and then display the array. Okay, so remember you had that question where the user would enter a sentence into an edit box, and then you had to go and reverse that activity, all those questions, reverse the sentence, so it read from the back to the front. Okay, so go and find that activity so that you can remember how to do this part, question D. Okay. It was great to work with all of you, and I hope to see you guys soon. Have a good weekend. Tomorrow you are going to work on your PAT. Okay. Use this time, everything that we've learned this week, apply it to your PAT. Go and see where you can put arrays into your project. So start thinking about your code, and then we will follow up on Tuesday. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.